Like the preview, we're going to be in John chapter 14, if you want to flip there. It's where we're going to camp out today. So, question, because it's been a long time since I've been in school. Do you guys ever still use the Scantron? A Scantron? So you got this, you know what I'm talking about, right? I had junior year pre-cal, Miss McNutt, the greatest academic moment of my career. And I'm going to tell you what happened, and it's going to change the way you pray before a test happens. So it was end of the semester, and we're taking our semester final, and we have to get it in like fast and get it graded. So she gives a Scantron. It's pre-cal. Are you telling me to do something? No. Oh, okay. It's pre-cal, and so we take a Scantron test. It's like a 40-question test so that at the end of the day, she can just take all those things and just zip them through the machine, and everybody's test graded. Grades go in, semester done. So we go in, take the test, get the Scantron out, and I'm working through the math problems, and I'm like, all right, number 1, A, fill it in. Do number 2, A, fill it in. Number 3, A. I'm like at question 12, and I'm A. Question 13 ends up like a C. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I keep going, and it's A, D. A, C. A. I'm like, look at this 40-question test, and I have 36 A's and 4 other letters. And so my brain's I'm starting to panic, right? I'm like, what do I do? Do I go all in on the A? And so it's math, so I take one of the solutions that I thought was C, and I took the answer for A, and I reworked it back through the problem. You know how you can do that in math? And I did it, and I was like, that's not C, that's A. So I did it with the other 3, and I still couldn't make it. I couldn't get it right. And so I had this decision. I was like, okay, 37 A's, 3 other things. So I went all in. I erased all of my other answers and just put A, 1 through 40 all the way down. And guess who got 100 on the test? That's right. Because she glitched the machine and messed it all up. And so she had no clue that she had done that. And I'm looking around at my friends, and I'm like, how'd you get a 70? You're just dumb. And so, man, I loved it because it was when do you get a test where there's 40 questions, but there's only one answer for all 40 questions, right? That is, you got the answer. I loved it. So, in the world you guys are living in the 21st century, growing up in this, it's a difficult world for you guys to grow up in. It's difficult in other ways. It's not like you have to get up and go get water from the river to bring back to your house, or have to go to the outhouse in the snow. But it's hard in different ways. And I think one of the ways is you guys are living in a world that has so much inundation of information. You can get answers to anything at all times. You have more information in front of you, and you can get it so quickly that it actually, and I'm going to talk about this in a moment, I think it actually makes it difficult to grow up in this generation. So I'm going to give you an example of just the change, because there's been a radical change even from when I was your age to now. And so I've asked Mandy and Evan to come up and help me. They're just going to interview, so you guys come on up. Where you at, Evan? Come on. Yeah, come on. So just going to ask them a question. I'm going to ask, it's Evan, right? Okay. Ask Evan a question, and I'm going to ask Mandy about it. You guys will have the same answers Evan does. I'm going to put the answers up on the questions on the screen. So here's the first question. Okay, Evan, you want to hear a song, or you hear a song, and you want to know who sings it. You hear it on the radio, you don't know who sings it. What do you do to find that out?
Oh boy, here we go. I'm just going to go Spotify.
Okay, but how do you find out the name of the song?
Look it up.
How?
Sorry.
How do you do it? Tell me.
Pull it out.
Right, so you type in some of the lyrics? Okay, so you type in some of the lyrics, boom, you get the name of the song. What else? Shazam. Who said Shazam? Right, yeah, Shazam. Come on, Evan. So, sorry, yeah, you gave me the wrong. So, you hear a song, you Shazam it, boom, there it is. Or, hey, Google, what's this song? There it is. Mandy, you and I are about the same age. When we're their age, you hear a song on the radio, you want to know who sings it. What do you do?
Well, because music wasn't on demand.
right?
I called the radio station. What was that song? Or yeah, you can play tapes, but then you would know the song.
Yeah, but you don't know the song. So yeah,
Yeah, or you would wait for it to come again.
pray that the DJ said the name of it afterwards, right? Yeah.
Call back in and request that song.
Yeah. So you guys want to know a song, boom, you have the information instantaneously. We had to call the radio station, hope they answered the phone, or we just sat there and went, I've heard the song like 6 times. I'm hoping the DJ is going to say the name of it, who sings it the next time. Totally different world. Okay? Question number 2. You need to find some articles for a paper you're writing. You need some information, you're writing a paper. What do you do, Evan?
Reads articles anymore. Just look at the smart guy.
What do you do?
Oh, okay. We have something called Quizlet for that. Just give us all the answers. So,
I didn't even know that, okay? What do? You need information from an article. What do you guys do? I was going to say Google, but that's fine. Like, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are... No, like, now I need an article. I need some information. I type in some things. I read some articles. But when we're growing up, you need some information for a paper. What do?
If you want the truth, you read the encyclopedias, hopefully your parents bought from the drive-by encyclopedia salesman.
Right?
Or you read the newspapers.
If you need something that the encyclopedia, again, we had these, hopefully your parents had the encyclopedia, this like 47 volume thing that took up your whole living room bookshelf. And if that didn't happen,
In the garage sale, you have like 40 books, not 47.
if that didn't happen, we had to go to the library and do the microfiche thing. Like you don't even want to know. Like trying to find information that you can find like that. Okay? Next question.
there was a portable encyclopedia salesman.
Yeah. They would come to your door, ring your doorbell, and try to sell you encyclopedias, and you'd buy them for your house. All right, Evan, you need to find out what time you're supposed to be at practice, but you're in the car with a parent. What do you do?
I call someone and say, hey, fingers crossed, let's just hope I don't show up late.
Okay, call a friend, or if you don't call them, you text a friend. What did you do, Mandy?
Well, I should have had that information before I left that day, first of all.
Because you didn't have what in your car? Didn't have a phone in the car,
A bag phone.
right? You know, if your parents were lucky enough to have a bag phone, they didn't let you use it because it was like $30 a minute, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that was my 3 questions, right? Is there another one? Is that it? Okay, next one. Okay, you're talking to a friend, want to share a verse with them, but all you can remember is it's do not conform to this world. That's all you can remember, which isn't the actual phrase totally. It's part of it. What do you do?
I get on my Bible app and we're just looking up on Safari.
Yep. What'd you do, Mandy?
You read Bible.
Right.
So you should have been listening in Sunday school.
Right.
Say, God, she's doing that too.
Have your parents call your pastor.
Right. 'Cause-
Ask your parents.
yeah. Okay, give them a hand. Give them a hand. What I want you to see is y'all can sit down now. So, do what? There's no competition. So there might be 30 years between the two of them. 30 years, that's it.
I'm 29.
And in that 30 years, what you guys can see, what I just illustrated to you, my generation that had no internet, no cell phones, we did not, like to get information was difficult. Like it was hard. It was the encyclopedia. Like if my parents said, hey, what time's practice? And I said, I don't know. I just wasn't going to practice. Like there's no way to find out. The world is different. It's changing so fast. Now, you guys are what we call digital natives. You've grown up natively in the digital world. But as a society, we're learning some new things. There's some technological changes that are coming so fast that we don't even really know what all their ramifications are. It's kind of like we're explorers that landed on like an island, and we're like hacking through the jungle with a machete, figuring it out as we go. And so we will look back when you're my age, and we will have the research now, the long-term studies to go, hey, all of this information changed, this instant access. Some great things happened because of it, but here are the things we didn't know would happen. And we're starting to discover some of those things now. So one of the things we've discovered is your generation and the generation above you. because you've had instant access to the answers, to any question you want, you're struggling with authority and truth in ways that other generations didn't. You're struggling with authority because when we're talking about the answer, remember my Scantron example, you can Google and you can find any answer to match what you want to believe. Let me give you an example. Who watched the Super Bowl? Anybody watch the Super Bowl? Halftime show? Okay, halftime show. It was the hip-hop artists of my generation. But look at this. So, Recount tweeted, Eminem taking a knee for Kaepernick. Okay? Some controversy because people are going, well, did he or did he not? We don't know. But, no, go back. 5,000 people, 5,200, almost 5,300 people retweeted that. 38,000 liked that message. Their truth was Eminem knelt for Kaepernick and racial issues. Next tweet was somebody posting about how Eminem didn't kneel for Kaepernick. He knelt in honor of Tupac. And I can't read it. What is it? 29,000 people shared it. 4.4 thousand people liked it. And all of this controversy, they were going, and he did it, and the NFL didn't know. He just like stuck it to the man. NFL didn't know he was going to, they told him he couldn't do it, he did it anyway. Next slide. Oh, NFL says we're fully aware Eminem did it. So here's my point. We don't even know the truth. We don't know if the NFL knew or if the NFL didn't. We don't know if Eminem knelt because of racial inequality and he was trying to give a shout out to Colin Kaepernick. We don't know if he was giving a shout out to Tupac, God rest his soul, if he's really dead. We don't know. But thousands of people are taking this quote unquote truth, the three different truths, and just throwing it out there. So here's why I say it's difficult growing up for you guys. Is because for you guys, truth isn't found in the Encyclopedia Britannica anymore. Truth is found on the internet where anybody can post anything, and it becomes very, very difficult to know what to believe, what to trust, who's right, and who's telling the truth. And so what happens is we have two generations now, and adults in my generation do this too, but we go find the truth that matches our feelings. Because I can find, you give me an article, like I could say right now, hey, there are aliens living in Texas. And most of you, 99% of you would go, that's crazy. I could guarantee I could come back tomorrow, find an article about it. And go, see? And if I didn't, I could write one and post it and get plenty of people to like it. So what is truth? What is the answer? Now take that and now put it onto some heavy topics. LGBTQ. Is it right? Is it wrong? What does God say? What should we do? And I Google it and I can find any article, any position that matches what I want it to say. Does that make sense? Abortion. I can find any article that says what I want it to say. Which president is best for America? Is it Joe Biden? Is it Donald Trump? I can find facts that support an argument for either side. Any controversial topic, I can go find. It's difficult for you guys, because the world you're living in, to really figure out what is true. And you ask life questions, like good ones, like how do I be happy? Well, if there's 1,000 answers out there, which one's true? A question like, hey, what does success look like? There's 1,000 answers out there. Which one's true? How do I get to heaven? There's 1,000 answers out there. Which one's true? You start to feel the dilemma here? Well, one of the reasons why we say Jesus is irreplaceable, and we're going to see this in a passage in John chapter 14, verse 6. I'm going to say it to you this way. The reason why Jesus is irreplaceable is because Jesus is the answer, not an answer. Jesus is A on the Scantron. Jesus answers all of our questions. I want you to go to John chapter 14, verse 6. We're going to look at just one verse tonight. And it's a short one, and we're just going to kind of unpack some things in it, okay? John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus says this. It says, Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So Jesus said, I am the way. Not a way. I am the way. Now, when we go back to what's Jesus talking about? What's the context here? Jesus is in a conversation with his disciples, and he's talking about he's going to heaven, and he's going to prepare a place for them. Hey, and you guys are going to come with me. And one of the disciples goes, we don't know where you're going. What do you mean? We don't know how to get there. We don't know the way to heaven. And Jesus' response to him was this quote, I am the way. Follow me, look to me, and I will get you there. I am the way to heaven. Guys, it is an exclusive statement. Jesus is on record, not as a way. Jesus is the way. And here's what the enemy does. The enemy is going to whisper to you. He's going to whisper to your friends things like this. Hey, it doesn't really, if you'll just believe in God, you'll be fine. Doesn't matter if it's Allah or Jesus or Old Testament Yahweh, or all roads lead to the same end. That's not true. Jesus said, I am the way. But the enemy whispers, there's lots of different ways. The enemy's going to whisper to you and say things like this, or to your friends. You say, it's not really about Jesus. Just make sure you do good things. Like do more good than you do bad, and heaven will be there for you. And Jesus exclusively says that's not the case. I am the way. And the enemy's going to whisper lies to you to try to get you to choose another way, which makes me think of one of my favorite clips from The Office. Anybody watch The Office ever? What happens when you listen to the wrong voice telling you the wrong way?
Well, we're 0 for 6. Last chance is at Elmhurst Country Club. Other side of the lake on the southeast side.
Not yet. I really don't care. This will work. Do everything ahead of that guy to nothing.
That's how it goes sometimes, you know. You lose everything, everything falls apart, and eventually you die and no one remembers you.
Very good point.
All right, turn.
Wait, no. It means bear right.
No,
There.
it said right. It said take a right.
No, look. It means go up to the right, bear right, over the bridge, and look up at 307.
All right,
It is a
turn.
shortcut way. It said go to the right.
It can't mean that. There's a light there. It knows where it's going.
Remain calm. I have trained for this. Take the moment down. Here we go.
Humorous picture. Humorous picture of what the enemy wants to do to you. Like convince you that there's one way. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut through the lake. But the enemy is going to try to convince you that there are other ways. And Jesus says, I am the way. Here's one of the things we also know. We're learning in research. The younger generation, your people that are 5-6 years ahead of you, 20-year-olds, one of the reasons why they're leaving the church is because they believe that the church is too exclusive. I have to believe this, and this. Sometimes the church can be like in the things that are not biblical. They're just kind of traditions or whatever. But guys, I want you to hear me say this. Jesus is exclusive. He says, I am the way. And if that bothers you, like if you go, I don't like that. I don't like that to think there's only one way. Like, we can still be friends. All I'm doing is telling you what Jesus said. Right? If you have an issue with that, you have an issue with Jesus. We don't have an issue, so we can hang out the rest of the week. But Jesus said, I'm the way. And then he said, I am the truth. I'm the way. I'm the truth. So the people that he's talking to, generally Jewish people, they're monotheistic. They believe in one God. They don't have the issue of hey, is there multiple gods to believe in? But they argued about what was true even inside what they did believe. Like they had arguments about the resurrection. Sadducees and Pharisees argue about how is the resurrection? Is there a resurrection? They argued about like what laws were the most important. One of them asked Jesus as a rabbi, hey, you tell us, Jesus, what do you say is the greatest commandment? Because they would argue about that. And in that context, Jesus said, listen, you don't have to worry about those things because not only am I the way, I am the truth. I'm absolute truth. Like you can trust everything that I say because everything that I say is true. God, it's a part of His character and nature to be true. And we live in a world, like you guys are growing up in a world that says, hey, have you heard this statement before? Hey, just you find your truth. Find your truth. It sounds so like poetic. Find your truth. Or, hey, what's true for him is not true for you. There is such thing as absolute truth. If you don't believe that, if you go, I'm not sure, I think truth is all relative. Well, I'll let you test it out. Because truth is not relative. Gravity absolutely moves you downward at 9.81 meters per second squared, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't believe it and you go, well, I don't believe that, truth is relative, you could step up on top of this building and step off and you'll meet gravity at 9.18 meters per second squared and you'll meet absolute truth. There are things that are absolutely true and Jesus is true. And here's why it matters. Here's why it matters. Because you're going to be in conversations with people and you need to have an understanding of where you land. Like, what is your source of authority? So I have conversations, faith conversations with people all the time. And in a world where absolute truth is at question, one of the things that we have to do in this conversation I have with people is kind of get a baseline for where our source of authority is. So I will be, if somebody's talking to me about pro-life, pro-choice, or they're talking about LGBTQ, or they're talking about what the Bible says about sex or relationships or whatever, like I'll be very clear up front, hey, my source of authority is the Bible. Because Jesus is true, and Genesis through Revelation points to Him, and it's His Word. And so this is where I land. And so everything that I believe comes from here. And so I'll ask people, that's my source of authority. So like if we have a disagreement, that's where it's going to go to. And I'll ask somebody, like, what is your source of authority? Like, where does your quote-unquote truth come from? And it's interesting because most people can't answer that question. Here's what it walks the path almost the exact same way every time. I'll say, the Bible's mine, so what is your source of authority? What defines truth for you? And they think about it because they've never had that question. And generally they come back with this first. They go, well, it's society. It's like what our culture says is true is true. What we all collectively agree, that's true. And they'll go like, well, that's why we make laws. We make laws for our country based on what we vote. So those laws could change. And I go, that's interesting. So truth is defined by what the culture says. And they'll go, yes. And then here, I love it. Because it's like teed up. Because I'll go, so you're for, like you affirm the murder of 6 million Jews during World War II. And they do, like what Abby just did. What? No. And I go, well, your argument that what is collectively true, what the culture says is true and right, is the same argument that Hitler and the Nazis gave, not Hitler, but the Nazis gave for their war crimes for murdering Jews. When they were put on trial, they said, you can't hold us accountable for murdering Jews because it was right for us and our country. And then all of a sudden, they're like, well, okay, no, never mind. Like, no, I don't. And I go, so what is true? Where do you get what's true? And 99% of the time, after they do the culture thing, they go, well, I guess it's just me. I define my own truth. And I like to ask them this question. Okay. Have you ever been wrong? Yes. And I'll ask them, is there a chance then that you may be wrong now? Because truth is not defined by what the culture says. Truth is not defined by what I believe or what I feel is right. Truth is defined by Jesus Christ. It's revealed in His Word. And Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Life. Like what is life? In America, I think many of us have this idea, like the good life, the life that I want. It's like I'm going to have to go get good grades. I got to get A's and stuff because I got to get a scholarship. And I've got to get into the right university. So I got to get in the right university so that I can get the right degree, so that I can get the right job. Because if I can get the right job, then I'll be able to more likely marry the right person. And then we're gonna get a house, and we're going to have 2.5 kids, like statistics say, and we're going to have a white picket fence that goes around our house, and we're going to get some nice cars, and we're going to vacation a couple times a year, and we're going to live the American dream, and that is going to be the life. And then my question back to people who go, that is the life, then why are so many of those people achieve all of that? They get the job of their dreams, they get the house, they get the car, they do the vacations, and in their marriage there's such tension and turmoil, and they're broken, and they end up thinking, hey, what I thought was the life isn't the life. And you know that secretary who works in my office, she's good looking, and I think she's into me. Maybe that's the life. Maybe the reason why I feel empty right now is because I got the wrong partner or the wrong spouse to do life with. So I'll divorce her and I'll hook up with this one, and all of a sudden I'll be living the life, and that doesn't work. They're living that dream job, and there's so much stress, they're miserable, they find themselves leaving work. Instead of going home, they go to happy hour because they got to get a couple drinks before they can go home. And the next thing you know, they're wrestling with a full-on addiction to alcoholism that's destroying their family. And you look at them and go, that's the life? Jesus said, I'm the life. Like you want to find fulfillment? We're going to talk about that later this week. It's follow me. I created you, is what Jesus said. I know you. I made you. I know the hairs on your head. I know what your path should be. I know your gifts. I know your talents. I know what kind of job you'll be great at. I'm the way to heaven. I'm the truth, absolute truth. And I am life. Whenever I get an opportunity to speak, one of the things I really want to do, I don't want us to open up the Word of God and then we just move on past it. I want to talk application. But I want to share with you one other thing. I almost forgot. Talking about the life. I can't remember what the magazine, I think it was the New Scientific magazine. They asked the question to scientists, like, what is life? What is the meaning of life? And here's, do you have that? Do I have that? Here's what they said. What is the meaning of life? Here's what the New Scientific Journal said. The harsh answer is, it has none meaning. Your life may feel like a big deal to you, but it's actually a random blip of matter and energy in an uncaring and impersonal universe. When it ends, a few people remember you for a while, but they will die too. Even if you make the history books, your contribution will soon be forgotten. Humans will go extinct. Earth and the sun will be destroyed. Eventually, the universe itself will end. Against this appalling reality, how can a human life have any real meaning? Wah, wah. That's what you want to believe when you Google what is life? No. Jesus said, I'm the life. So here, we'll talk like next steps and things you can do in our next times together. But I'm just one thing I'm going to leave with you tonight. And in a minute, I'm going to let the guys come up, and they're just going to lay down some music and let you just kind of have a few moments. It won't take a long time to pray, to think. Because here's the application. Here's your next step. Here's what you do. I'm just going to ask you tonight to make a decision of who Jesus is to you. Make a decision of who Jesus is. He's either the way or he's not. He's either the truth or he's not. He's either your life or he's not. He says he is. God himself claims, the incarnate word, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, the life. But he's going to let you choose. But Jesus isn't halfway the way. And Jesus isn't some of the truth. You don't go, well, I'm going to follow Jesus and I believe Jesus until it becomes inconvenient. Yeah, I believe Jesus, but Jesus, the scripture says that I should honor marriage and that sex is meant to be between a husband and a wife. And I really like my girlfriend a whole lot. And so, yeah, I believe Jesus is the truth, but I'm going to believe that on Sundays and Wednesdays, but not on Friday night and Saturday night when her parents are gone. It doesn't work that way. Jesus is the truth or he's not. Yeah, Jesus, I want to live the life. And Jesus says, great. Because I've created you with an evangelistic heart, and I'm going to send you on a mission trip for the rest of your life to another country far away, and you're going to share the gospel, and you're going to give your life for me. And then we go, well, Jesus, can I have a different kind of life? Like the one with the picket fence and maybe a swimming pool? He's either the life or he's not. And so tonight, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to decide. I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do with Jesus and his claims on your life that he's the way, the truth, and the life? Like, are you going to turn your life towards him like he is truly the irreplaceable God? Kind of heavy, right? Let me lighten the mood for a second, but just give you a picture of what it looks like. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is 15. She's got her permit. A friend of ours, this is just kind of a God story they did for us. A friend of ours, she had made mention about their daughter's car one time. She was like, oh, I'd love to have a car like that. And my daughter's always said, she's like, I don't want a nice car. I want my first car to be a beater. Like, I want to get something better as I get older. So this car right here, our friends, they were going to give to my daughter. And they said, we're not going to give you a car. Okay, actually, we'll sell it to you. So we'll sell it to you for $5. So she's 15 and owns a car, which is kind of cool. She can't even drive it because, she has their permit. So she's got a $5 car. In her mind, that car is irreplaceable. Like, it's the love of her. Like, we go places. And she's like, and we're trying to let her drive. She's got a permit, and so we'll be going someplace. And she'll go, hey, can we take my car? And I'm like, I don't really want to be seen in your car. That picture makes it look a lot nicer than it is. And I'm like, secondly, I don't want to get in your car because I'm not sure we'll get back at this. I already told her this car is not allowed to leave the city limits. Like, I don't try. It's a $5 car. She loves it. It's irreplaceable. She's passionate about it. Now, here's the crazy story. The other day, she said, hey, I'm going to go get the mail. Can I drive to go get the mail? And we said, yes. So she drove around the block to get the mail. Okay, you ready for this? That's my freaking mailbox in the picture. Like, that's the mailbox right there. She got in her car, drove around the block, and came back to that mailbox, got out, got the mail, got back in her car, and drove it 20 feet and parked it. Mind blown. But man, she loves that car, obviously. In her mind, it's irreplaceable. What I'm asking you, like, Jesus is so much better than that car. Do you leverage everything you have for Jesus? Would you go, man, it doesn't matter how crazy it sounds. I just want to be with Jesus, and I'm all in. He is my way, my truth, and my life, because he is the answer, not an answer. So I'm asking the guys to come up, because I just want to have a time of decision. We're not having an invitation, but just a time for you to think, 2 or 3 minutes. I just want you to close your eyes for a second. Bow your head. Maybe you want to turn around and sit down in front of your seat on your knees. I don't know what you need to do. But the question tonight is this. What will you do with Jesus? Are you all in or not? There's no halfways. And I'm not asking you for a camp emotional decision. Like, I know, I'm fully aware that this time when I start talking and some music gets going behind me, all of a sudden, like, it's just a different feel. I'm not asking you to make a feeling decision. I'm asking you to make a heart decision. And you decide tonight the decision that, you might be a believer and you still need to make this decision. You make the decision that says, from this point forward, I'm all in. And I believe Jesus is the answer to life. And whatever he says, wherever he goes, whatever he defines as life for me, that's where I'm headed. You just take a few minutes and talk to the Lord. Maybe do a little business with him. Try to answer that question for yourself. think tonight, Marshall, am I right? Are they going to have time in a small group? Or is it just games tonight? Small group in the homes tonight. Hey, your leaders have some stuff to talk through with you. Like, they got curriculum stuff. But let's not miss this question when you gather in a small group. Because if tonight you go, I'm all in. I'm in. Jesus is the way, the truth, and life, just like he says. And that's life-changing for me. And my life will be different because of it. I'm going to tell you this. The enemy refuses to give you that answer. He's going to do everything he can to take that away from you, destroy it, create confusion, create dissent, create problems. And so when you go into that host home tonight and you get a small group, that may be a conversation. Your conversation may be, hey, I'm all in. Jesus is my way, my truth, my life, and I need to know what to do next. And some of you are going to have to band together. You're going to have to walk together, be a small group together, be accountability together, fight the fight together, because it won't be easy. And you're going to walk back into a world on Monday that gives you fake answers to every one of life's questions. And you're going to have somebody remind you over and over again, no. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the truth. Jesus is the life. So don't let the moment pass. If you made a decision, you talk it out in your small group tonight. I'm going to close this in prayer and then turn it back over to Marshall. Father, thank you for this group of students. And Lord, I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to do some great things in the lives of these students. That's going to overflow into this church and into their homes. And it's going to overflow into their community, into Stephenville, into their high schools, their junior highs, the friend group. And Lord, my prayer is that some of the decisions that were made tonight wouldn't be junior high and high school decisions. They'd be life decisions. That when these young people are 25 years old, when they're 45 years old, when they're 70 years old and holding their grandkids, they'll be telling their grandkids the truth of the fact that you are the answer, not an answer, that you are the way, the truth, and the life. And they'll have a 70-year testimony of what life has been like as they followed you, that they pass on to generations behind them. Lord, may it start tonight. And may it begin to blossom in their homes and their schools and their community now. We love you, Jesus.